We are winding down our semester in business law, and part of the culmination of what we're doing is really coming to the idea of forming a business. Now, we've talked about the some constitutional and structural considerations for law and business law specifically. We've talked about protecting ideas through intellectual property. We've talked about protecting ourselves by avoiding negligence. We've talked about protecting ourselves in contractual business dealings. So I like to think of this as those are sort of the foundations to if you are going to start or govern a business, that you've got these ideas that you want to you want to protect, you want to keep safe to yourself and others, and you are going to start engaging in relationships with suppliers or resellers or manufacturers, whatever it is, to create a product. And that's really where we've come now this whole class. If you're not interested in starting a business, this is still relevant to understanding how a business functions, and you're going to see some things that are personally useful. So let's talk about the forms of business, we call it. So the forms that a business can take, and I always start by asking whether anyone has started a business before, and some of you. There are always a couple of students in class who have a business. Maybe I've had lawn care businesses and tree trimming businesses and kind of jewelry making businesses. So lots of people you're in college and you've started something that it looks like a business, or you've made something and sold something or provided some kind of service. Now, for most of you, if you've done this, you've started a lawn care business or a babysitting service and you're taking money, you have what's called a sole proprietorship. A sole proprietorship. You don't need to file anything for this. You can file an official sole proprietorship form, but you don't need to. But a sole proprietorship is a single person, one person. You are the owner of that business, and you are responsible for the debts of the business. You are personally liable for injuries that the business causes. So if you've got this lawn care service and you go and you buy a lawnmower on credit, and you don't repay all of that loan, you can go and get these things financed, right? You go down to John Deere dealership and they'll finance a lawnmower for you. If you don't pay that back, you cannot walk away from this. It will personally follow you. If you've got this lawn care business and you run over someone's foot with your lawnmower and you cause an injury to them, you are personally responsible for that injury, and you can be sued. So again, you don't need to file anything, but you need to pay income taxes on the income that the business makes, and you pay that personally. So sole proprietorship is essentially, even though it's a business, there's no difference from you. It is you, okay? You are it's like a nickname, okay? And sometimes you see the term DBA on things. You'll see a business name, or you'll see somebody's name, then DBA, the business, okay? J. Milbrandt, DBA, Milbrandt Lawn Care, okay? That essentially indicates this is a sole proprietorship. You are doing business as that name, DBA, that name. So a sole proprietorship is like you have a nickname, and that nickname is your business. Again, you have to pay taxes on this. It's not company taxes, it's all personal. So now a sole proprietorship is sole proprietorship. It is solely you, one person. When you expand this to more than one person, you create a partnership. So a partnership is exactly the same form as a sole proprietorship. you and your partners, can be more than one, are responsible for the debts. You can all be sued personally. You don't need to file anything necessarily, and you all still need to figure out how this income tax thing is going to work. Um, and that's going to be a little bit difficult, right? Because how are you going to split that up? I mean, probably you're doing it 50-50. Maybe you're deciding who gets what portion of this. Now, I'll tell you, I had a partnership once. My friend and I, my neighbor and I in high school, my closest friend, we decided to create a wakeboarding clothing company called Stoked Industries. Pretty cool, right? There's the brochure. We had these board shorts, and we were buying board shorts from a company in California who was importing them from Asia, and then they'd embroider them, put our logo on them. We were getting t-shirts made on the East Coast. We were selling some of this stuff into surf shops in Florida. So yeah, and we didn't end up filing anything. We would have been, if somebody would have gotten I don't know, had some issue with our clothing, maybe had a reaction, an allergic reaction to the materials, we could have been held responsible if we wouldn't have paid back the board short manufacturer. We would have been personally responsible. So not the greatest form, and you know when you reflect on this, you kind of think, well, you know, maybe I would have done that, might have done that differently. But hey, we were in high school, and when he graduated, and he was 1 year ahead of me, we just sort of dissolved the partnership. So the other nice thing about it, easy to start, easy to get out. It's done when you decide you're no longer in business. So now, here's my thing about sole proprietorships and partnerships. They're not really very valuable. They almost offer you absolutely nothing. They don't offer you any protection. They're just giving you a nickname, and it's hard to say why they even exist. I guess because people have them, and they are going to have businesses. They're not necessarily going to file anything, so we give it some kind of name. You want to avoid this, and we are going to talk in the next video about how you avoid that through corporations and LLCs, and how you're essentially limiting the liability to you personally. We get some tax advantages. You want nothing to do with these sole proprietorships and partnerships. The you know, I mean, I really can't think, unless you're just doing some simple thing like you're mowing your neighbor's lawn. You're not even filing anything, right? It takes very little money to go to the next step, which we're going to talk about. We're actually going to walk you through that process, and so that's what I would do. I would avoid these two. So next one, we're talking about corporations and LLCs.